What's going on, everybody? It is your host, Dr. Splash. And today we have a pretty fun style of video I haven't done in, I think, literally a few years. I used to do this style of video called roundtable discussions where I'd bring a few Discord members from my community and we would talk about different topics. Well, today I'm bringing that back, and we're probably going to make it a mainstay again because it usually does pretty well. And today I brought a few members of my server. Some you know, some you haven't met yet, but we are going to be talking about speed, and more specifically, speed metas, how the speed tiering works, and do we think it's bullshit? Do we think it's valid? And everything in between. So to kind of introduce everybody real quick, I'm gonna say their name and then they'll say what up just so you recognize their voice. But we'll start off with the one you're most familiar with, my lawyer, my boy GB.
Yo. Wait, what was I supposed to say?
Yeah, you just say yo so they know you're here. That's all.
Oh.
It's not too deep. Then we've got the person actually recording this for me, so thank you very much. But the homie Phoebes, say what up.
What up? What up?
And then we have someone who's been on here before, known for giving Nostradamus-like takes. My boy Blueface, if you want to say what up.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, so we got the crew here, and we're gonna keep it basic. So, given I'm hosting the talk, I'm gonna give my general statement last. But I want you guys to just give a general/vague statement of overall how you feel about how the speed tiering system is used in the community, how speed's addressed in the community, and in general, how you feel about speed when it comes to fiction. So, first up, let's spice it up. Blueface, why don't you give your general statement first?
I think speed it's cool and all that shit, but I think the community really overestimates how much speed is a factor in these battles and whatnot. Cause they'll be like, "Oh, this person has out of universal or immeasurable speed," but they use this next comment. They'll be fighting some street level tiers and they get bodied. So I don't think all that shit. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I know you had said earlier because I posted on my community tab and then I had posted in my server, but I remember you brought up like Captain Boomerang, which of course that's been a meta we've talked about for years. This how funny it is that a fucking boomerang hits Flash, regardless of how special that goddamn boomerang is. For the next opinion, Phoebes, what do you think about speed?
I mean, I mostly agree. I think a lot of scaling in general is just, it gets higher and higher and higher to the point where you can't keep track of it, especially with speed. But then you have people jobbing, like, I think the most notorious one is Catwoman knocking out 3 speedsters with 1 kick.
Yeah, that's brought up all the time.
I just think that's unacceptable to do that kind of shit to characters that are supposed to be so high up in power.
What do you think about speed?
A lot of people are talking about the Flash, but what about instant transmission? How fast is he?
Oh no, Danko has fucking entered the chat, man. What? I don't even know his stance on speed, but what's yours?
Well, speed. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I think it's annoying when you get into like travel speed versus combat speed. I think that's kind of dumb, but I don't think there's some cases where it should be different, like if you're involving tech and stuff, but I don't really like when you have a super powered being traveling at light speed, but then like his combat speed's like speed of sound. Like that's really just dumb, and it like creates problems in power scaling.
I think for my general take, over the year, I did for a while appeal to like speed tiers and speed systems and stuff. But then I realized it gets a little weird because they're talking about math, right? But then math is usually dictated by we're saying the character can do something more times than not. That means evidence would be like 50% plus of all their showings. And like, let's be honest, most haven't even read half of showings for characters. So it's like really hard to argue. And then you get into, I personally think it comes down to more case to case basis. Like, there's certain tiers. Like, yeah, if you can go outside of time and space, you're obviously, that's crazier speed than outrunning a beam of light. But at the same time, a lot of characters fit into a certain category. So at that point, it's really just like a case by case basis of when speed matters. So that's kind of how I feel.
Type shit. Type
I don't
shit
think
facts.
tiers
Slight
are
shit.
as important. It's like a weight class at that point. Like a lot of people qualify. So at that point, you just take what's better. So speed tier is a little weird. In terms of travel speed and combat speed, GB, it seems like you're on the side of if you can react to it and travel, you think it should be applicable to combat speed?
I mean, like when it comes
Not
to like
exact, because I
characters
kind
like
of agree with that. I think there's logic behind that.
yeah, like if you're like Superman or you're Flash or you're like Spider-Man or something, like I obviously like web swinging, whatever, I guess, but like if I don't expect Spider-Man to be able to dodge punches any slower than he's running. Like that's dumb. I don't know. Like it's just it's whatever. Like Batman, obviously Batman travels through other means, but it's like people be like, "Oh well, if he can dodge punches at light speed, why can't he just save all of Gotham in one night with light speed like it's just stupid as shit because like people kind of just they blanket it all. Like it's like, oh, there's travel speed and then there's this. So what's Superman's travel speed and what's his combat speed? Like if you're asking that about a character like Superman, that's just dumb. I don't think you should blanket that and like throw Superman under that blanket. Like obviously I'd expect him to like move at the same speed that he can dodge at. Like that's just dumb. But I don't know.
What
Whatever.
the other two? What do y'all think about combat versus travel?
You know, I actually would argue I think combat speed should be faster than your travel speed usually, because that's how it is in real life. Like your punch is a lot faster than however fast you can run. Like go run 100 meters and then like what's easier to dodge? Somebody running at you or somebody punching you? Like the fist is faster, the leg is faster. Like that stuff is in milliseconds.
See, you
No.
think
Yeah,
that,
like
but then you see Gaethje fight. So
no, I didn't know
True.
who was gonna get slandered. There was about 300 people that were available for him. But the another good example of that is in basketball. We teach like pass instead of dribbling. Like no matter how fast you are, the motion of throwing something, your arm, and then thus the travel of the ball after that is way faster than you'll run.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree in a sense with that. Plus, I think travel speed is also more an indicator of like your perception and your reactionary. Like if you can fly a ship massively faster than light and still react to shit around you and pilot it and all that, I would think you could react to attacks at that same speed.
Yeah. I mean, the difference with a ship and vehicles in general, like, is, I mean, you can't really apply cars to that because we have traffic and rules and stuff set up for a reason because people will hit shit. They have lanes that are set up. In space, they always have, oh, the trajectory's plotted. They already know where everything is that's going to hit them ahead of time. So they have the trajectory to avoid it. I mean, there's also a thing I would like to bring up with that. How can you react to something faster than light when the light the photons haven't even hit your retina yet?
Yeah, that's where I think we gotta that, and that's something I kind of hammer home about every verse I cover is like every verse kind of has different takes on how the laws of physics work.
Yeah.
There's ones that talk in space, they can yell in space, shit. So it's like I guess at that point, and I think that helps my argument with the speed tiering, which is it's a case by case basis. That would come down to an analysis of the case, right? Like, okay, what's speed like in their verse? How fast is everyone moving? How fast is light in that verse? Because, for example, the speed of thought in Marvel is like a measurable compared to real life. Obviously, technically, speed of light says it's slower than speed of light, I believe,
Now, Reed
due
Richards
to
so
how fast the
how
synapses
about
fire.
now? Why is Reed Richards so dumb? How about that?
Reed, well, Reed literally thought himself into another dimension before, so guess it
That's
gets
a
a little
funny
sticky.
feat. That's a funny ass feat. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah, he was just like, I need to think 5D. All right, let me make myself fifth dimensional. It's like, what?
What the fuck, bro? And it worked.
Becomes
Where
a
has this been
tesseract.
against the street tiers? Holy shit!
Literally, big brain, Reed Richards.
No, that's inspired by Luffy. That was a Luffy inspired feat.
Oh, brother.
Is that
This guy.
confirmed?
No, that's just a meme because of Marvel Rivals. A lot of saying Mr. Fantastic's a ripoff of Luffy.
You're
That
lying. There's no way you're saying that. You're
Yeah,
lying,
look,
bro.
That's gotta be rage
no,
bait. Has to be.
no,
Has to
no.
be.
Look online. They basically said his inflated form is like a gear.
Like I
well,
believe you, but I'm saying I
That's,
can't believe that people are saying that
that's
seriously.
before we get
You won't be
distracted
fans.
by Marvel Rivals think tank, back to the speed thing. Blueface, what do you think about combat speed versus travel speed?
I think it's just weird because like you have niggas like Baku who supposedly has FTL jabs, but I've never seen this nigga run faster than light. I'm just saying he has FTL hitting power, like hitting speed on shit. But he can't run that fast like that shit. So I don't get why we separate this shit at all. Personally, I don't get it. Hold on, my girl's here. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'll mute myself real quick.
Yeah,
For those who are
I get it.
wondering,
You know what?
Blueface is actually bisexual. In case anybody's wondering in the chat.
It's just getting the most random fucking promos and strays today. The shout out to the LGBT man. Hit the like and subscribe. We're here. Now back on topic. The fucking speed tier for the So I always have a couple feats in fiction that come to mind when I think of speed tiers are bullshit. First one is Yusuke Urameshi, right? Like we've seen Yusuke fight characters that can throw shit to the end of space. We've seen him fight characters that use light itself. They use electricity like beams of light. They can fight across like the realms of hell, which is confirmed to infinite, all that stuff. And then there's that one fucking scene where he's trying to outbike a car, right? Like the car had him kind of shook, and it's like, bro, chill. I don't know, like feats like that. Like then you'll see Doctor Strange go, and GB will attest to this. Like he'll dead ass go and fuck up an extra dimensional demon, which is clearly in like realms beyond time and space and shit, and then he'll get shot in the cribbo like an hour
Wait,
later.
your mic cut out. Did you say Doctor Doom would fucking extra to?
Actually, your mic literally did. I'm pretty sure you made up my mic going out. Your mic actually did go out. Some,
Whoa.
I think, I think you tried to imply I was insulting Doctor Doom, and the mic gave up.
No, hold on. Let me clarify.
But man, to his mic just to slander me.
All
Disgusting.
right. So, did you say Doctor would fuck an extra dimensional demon?
Yeah,
Pretty sure he
no. I think
has.
Doctor Strange. Did I actually
Whoa.
cut out when I was talking, by the way? Or are you bullshitting?
No, no, it didn't. It didn't.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I was like, fuck, I gotta go back. Potentially have to edit the voice there. That sucks. Nah,
He
but that Yusuke feat with the bike, like for real, supposedly not being faster than a truck, but he can fight demons. Doctor Strange can get shot, but he can fight outer demons. It's weird. Speed, in a way, Blueface is kind of right about saying, speed's kind of bullshit in general in fiction, which is why I think it is a case to case. Because someone had asked. I know someone commented today. Hey, since Quicksilver goes through time or like dimensions with raw speed, and Flash has to phase, does that mean he's faster than Flash? I was like, what? I guess the speed tiers kind of make you want to ask that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's all relative. Has to be relative.
yeah, I don't know. I just think just depends on the writer. Like writers just
Yeah.
do dumb shit, whether it's speed scaling or not. I don't know. That's why I'm kind of like over power scaling. To be honest, I kind of just don't really care about it anymore because you got dudes literally writing entire stories about like how Thor is above the comic book narrative itself, and then he's bleeding because Storm threw gases from Uranus in his mouth, and now he's like hyperventilating. You know.
Man was bleeding from his ears. He's about to
And
die
then
in
the
June.
and then the writers like they go on Twitter and they're like on some stupid shit, and they're like, well, maybe you shouldn't think of it like that. It's like, well, even if we didn't think of this in a power scaling sense, this is just retarded. Like, this is retarded, right? Like, even if you take it beyond the scope of power scaling, having Thor manipulate a being like Oblivion, but then having Jupiter bath salts make his nose bleed is just dumb as fuck. Like, what are we doing?
Yep.
Why the fuck is Thor is literally from Asgard? Why the fuck does Jupiter affect him at all? Like, what kind of god is that?
Actually, true.
Like, and the writers be making the fans are so stupid. Like, why are you looking at this as power scaling? That's just fucking retarded. Like, power scaling or not, that's retarded.
Dude, I'll never forget their cross. So I read, not only did I read like the original Secret Wars, but I read the novel version. And I'll never forget their first interaction being written. And he's like messing with tornadoes, and she makes a tornado. And he was just like blown away. Like, what the fuck, Thor? You can make storms the size of dimensions. Who gives a fuck if a bitch can make a tornado? Like, what?
Oh
Like,
my gosh,
the
no!
way he randomly gassed that shit was crazy.
For people in the comment section, no, Thor cannot make dimensional-sized tornadoes or storms. Like, oh my god.
That shit's like Picasso going to a kindergarten and looking at the finger paints and being blown away.
Whoa.
Like, holy shit, this kid's gonna be somebody.
That's crazy when you think about it. Holy shit. Man, this kid going crazy right here, bro. This kid going absolutely ballistic right now.
Yeah, but he really does talk. Well, granted, she is getting a crazy push, which is a conversation very different. But it's like speed. Speed matters, of course. Like battle when I do versus battles, and I kind of agree with GB about power scaling is not as fun. The more you read, the less you know about power scaling. Unironically, like it's a lot of shit that just makes it muddy. But I do think it does matter in battles. I don't want to act like it doesn't matter in specific cases. I'm just saying it should only matter in those specific cases. Like, yeah, Ben Grimm technically has a measurable speed in combat. Is that motherfucker running at a measurable speed? Never. Luke Cage did once in comics, though. So fuck it. You know? Like, you remember
No,
that?
what
When time and space bent when he ran?
what I really hate about the speed tier is when people genuinely still till this day don't know what a measurable speed is. Like, it's one of the least used. Yeah, measurable speed, literally, like, actually, is 99.9% of the time only achievable through a like movement feat or like a travel speed feat. It's so
Yeah.
rare to see a measurable speed done in combat. I think you could literally count on your hand, like on both hands, how many times in all of fiction an example would come up of like immeasurable speed used in combat.
I
And then
literally
people
feel
would
like
be
there's
like,
a one off my top, and it was from Miracle Man when he fought someone. He fought Kid Miracle Man through time. It was like punching him through like 1985 and 1800s and all that shit like that. Like you
yeah,
never see that shit.
I've seen Superman punch people through time before. I've seen the Flash fight through time before. Like, sure, but it's really rare. And then like, there's people who be like, oh, well, like you have a character with like, let's say Juggernaut level durability, and then you have a guy like, I don't know, Quicksilver, and people be like, oh, Quicksilver's just gonna blitz him, and do what? And do what? Like, when are we gonna stop acting like Speed's an auto win?
Preach on that,
Like,
holy fuck. Preach on that shit.
like what the fuck is like? Oh yeah, no, Quicksilver's just gonna blitz him and break his punching this giant dude. Like what the fuck?
Bro, Beast is faster than Juggernaut. What's that
They
Yeah.
done
literally
for him? Like,
they literally had a comic recently, the latest Flash comic, where Superman Wally's weakened or something, and Superman's like can't really hit him, but Wally's doing no damage to Superman. And they literally said that Wally would gas out like before any actual serious damage was done to Superman. He'd get exhausted. So like what? You can't just be fast and win. Like you can't
I'll
do
never
that.
forget in Deceased when Flash got infected and was running around, and they're like, "It's a GG when Flash gets infected because he's that fucking fast, right?" Superman just ran into him. That was it. That's it. And Flash exploded.
Yeah,
And
but
the
then
all it
Superman
did
got a
was a
bone in his
finger.
tummy.
Yeah, a finger like stuck in Superman's rib. But if it wasn't for an infection, like the deceased infection, that shit wouldn't have mattered. Like it was just a slight wound.
Yeah.
Let's not even bring up that he could have just lasered him, but you know, who am I?
Not to mention that Wally literally doesn't know how to fight. I remember you would think somebody that fast take like what 3 nanoseconds out of their day to learn every martial art under the sun. Like,
Out of
Yeah,
boredom.
GB might have just had a fucking. We're gonna end the video with this slight rant that has nothing to do with speed, but it does because of Flash's bitch ass. Flash, this is why speed's bullshit in comics. That's facts. Flash can do all that shit in a microsecond and won't take
Yep.
the time to learn how to throw fucking hands.
yeah, like Deathstroke literally became as fast as him and dared him to like actually just throw down. Deathstroke didn't even say like, "Yo, like, fight me with all this tech or nothing." It was just Deathstroke was gonna go hands with, and Wally just because he doesn't know how to fight ran away. Like what? That's crazy. Like speed is not like an auto win. Like that's insane. Deathstroke doesn't even know how to use the Speed Force like Wally does. That's how different the like striking capabilities were. The bad matchup on the feet.
Here's the thing
Like
about
that's
that
insane.
too, though. Like he's not even using his like hacks abilities, like the Speed Force shit. He
Yeah,
could have thrown him into the Speed Force and been like, "I don't have to fight you."
yeah, no, but yeah, that's what I said. He doesn't. Deathstroke doesn't have the experience with Speed Force or anything.
Yeah.
Wally just was actually that scared. Like a lot of these speedy characters just suck. Like it's. And then you have like I said it at the beginning, like memeing about like instant transmission, teleporting, and all that stuff. Like that shit is so old. Like it's so that shit is so Comic Vine 2010 or some shit. It's like, oh, he's gonna teleport on you, and do what? Like, who cares?
Delay an
Minato,
Apple.
Minato versus Flash. Ah, Minato.
Please don't
I'm
say that shit again. Don't do that to me. Shut the
so
fuck up.
here.
Shut up.
Here's what I'm curious about. So like, we have the speed tiers, and obviously immeasurable. Like the fucking word is immeasurable. Like it's just such an insane feat of speed to where you can't put numbers on it. Like, but also, how do you like? Some of the tiers get muddied up within themselves too among different comics fans or like whatever medium they're a fan of. Like I can get immeasurable speed when they're going through time and shit, because how do you measure speed relative to their time traveling? It just breaks the laws of physics. But
Yeah,
like,
break the speed equation.
we have that feat where Flash outran teleportation. Like, have you guys seen
Yeah.
that before? Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's insane, but it's still measurable. So it's like, I don't know. There's no agreement on where the tiers tend to land. You know, people throw out immeasurable when there's literally you could measure it, or and vice versa.
Yeah, and then you get into the situations of like, oh well, my character has infinite speed, and then I say, oh well, my character has infinite speed. Do we just end the
Yeah,
conversation, or is there nuance? Yeah, there's a lot of there became an over reliance on speed tiers instead of actual research and just comparing. You don't have to know speed tiers to be well read on two characters and generally come to a conclusion on who's faster based on what they've done.
right.
Like, I don't need a speed tier to know running across the United States is not as impressive as running across the solar system. That's basic, you know? Like, so it's interesting. Speed tiers used to have such prominence in the community, but I think we're seeing them die off. And I think they will continue to do so. And I think it's more important for people to focus on speed when it matters, like in a case by case basis. But anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap up this speed tier discussion. Is it fraudulent? Is it legitimate? Let us know what topics you want to see roundtabled on next, and we will bring people back to discuss it. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's Yancey Street, bitches.